Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be painting another 100 Heads portrait, and we are going to be painting these two ladies over here. Forgive my stand, it's actually just my iPad stand. I've been having a hard time painting flat on a table, and when shooting the video it's been tough making sure that the camera is able to focus. So we are going to be painting with gouache once again. I really want to master this medium, that's why I'm doing this. So today I'm going to be using my favorite flat angled brush, the number 6 from Labs. I just find it so convenient to paint with an angled brush because it kind of works like an in-between of like a flat brush and a round brush. Because of the point, I'm able to do details like these without changing brushes, which is why I love it so much. That's why it's too bad that when you get this set, it actually just comes with one flat angled brush. I wish it came with more. I'm still on the lookout for more angled brushes, and if you guys have any idea where to purchase them, please comment down below. I'm really seriously looking for one. So for this lady, I am focusing on that technique where you zone in on one area, so you paint one area and then that's where you move on from the other spots, much like how I painted some of my monochrome series in the previous video. I wanted to see how it works for colored painting, which is why that's what I'm experimenting on as of the moment. I've also set limits for myself this time when it comes to painting the portraits, because I have this bad habit of kind of zoning in, and I tend to overthink things, and you know, the perfectionism in me is coming out. So I really want to avoid that, because these paintings are not masterpieces, they're practice pieces. So that's the whole goal of this challenge in the first place. If I would compare my works from the previous ones, I think I'm a little bit more in control of gouache. I'm able to set my values a little bit better compared to the first few times I was trying this out. So here I'm trying to push and pull the colors and trying to play around with the midtones as well as the darkest shades. Oh my gosh, please forgive those sounds. Like I said, a lot of birds live in our village, and for some reason they just love hanging out outside my window. So that is a bird. But I love hearing them. The colors that I mostly use for skin tones are burnt umber, if not burnt sienna with yellow ochre. So this is my base for this painting over here, and then I darken it or lighten it with white as well as my ultramarine. I prefer using those colors because it kind of speeds up my process instead of me starting with the reds, yellows, the base colors. And I'm here to study it, so I don't want to get too frustrated in the process, which is why taking shortcuts like that kind of helps with the learning process. So what I've noticed so far with how I do things, I think I'm very good at working on the highlights and the darkest shades. I think what I need to work most on would be my midtones, and I think mixing colors, that's for sure. There's still a lot to learn, which is why I'm so excited in working in this 100 Heads portrait challenge. I know I'm going to learn a lot more because this is just my 10th head so far. So now that I'm on my 10th head, I'm starting to notice my weaknesses, and I'm thankful for that. I think I'm very weak in utilizing the midtones, which is why I tend to try to blend things, since I'm very good at adding the dark shades as well as the highlights. But the midtones are my weakness, so this painting series would be great in improving that. Because I, again, want to learn Cubism, but the thing is, since I keep blending, in the beginning I am able to follow through with the Cubism style with the strokes of the brush, but when I can't figure things out with regards to the midtones, I tend to blend it to create the midtones, and I think that's where I fail. So I have to just be more conscious about it. I know for a fact that I also have to stylize, and that's what we're going to be working on for the next few heads, now that I'm getting the hang of the medium. So here I'm falling in love with these textures that I made by accident with this dry flat brush. So I think I'm going to try to incorporate this with the other paintings that I'd be doing in the future. Here it is. I'm quite happy with how this one turned out despite the struggles. Now let's move on to the second head. I took a day break actually, for this one, which is why the whole setup is totally different. This time I'm going to be doing a different style. I saw another painter that created a wash before starting with their painting. I think the logic behind it is so that you will be able to see the tones a lot faster when it comes to painting the portraits, because it's a lot easier to see the colors of gouache in a colored paper instead of a plain white paper like what I have been painting on. So I decided on orange because that's what they mostly used, so I was curious. I was honestly both excited and scared to start this painting. I did think that she would make a great contrast to the first portrait that I painted, because she's quite pale. Most especially her hair as well, because she's relatively an old lady or a middle-aged lady. So here I was a little bit more aware of the strokes because, again, the Cubism. I'm still not getting the hang of it, but it's a lot better than me trying to blend things out. So this time I focused on the highlights because, again, it's a lot easier to see here since there's already a colored background. So I see now why this method is quite popular. I think I'm going to experiment more on this by changing up the backgrounds and how the colors would fade and stuff. We'll see. But for now, I'm quite happy with how the midtones are turning out. So see here, this is kind of more of the Cubism style that I want. I want the brushes to be bold. Like, I see the strokes as squares and angles instead of the usual blending. I think I want a combination of impressionism and Cubism at the same time. I still don't know how I'm going to figure that out, but at least I think I'm clear on the goal. I think this method might be able to help me out faster with the style that I want to go for. So we'll take it from there. So from this point on, it's gonna start going downhill. As you can see, I'm starting with a blending because for some reason I cannot push and pull the colors the way I want to. I don't think it's the fault of the colors, but rather the choice of colors that I have been mixing together. And maybe I should have taken a break, because taking breaks actually help with my fixation or like zoning in. I don't know if you guys get that, but that's what happens to me. As I'm observing this in edit, I think this is actually the tones and the midtones that I was going for already, so I should have stopped. The hardest part when you're learning how to paint or as you're painting is knowing when to stop. I think that's a common problem that many artists tend to make, and I was just trying to fix one mistake after the other, and then it just started getting worse, to be honest. I overdid the highlights at a certain point, and the reason why I'm still showing this process in this video is to show you guys that, you know, it doesn't always turn out well. I'm still okay with how it turned out. It could have been better, but you know, that's part of learning. You learn from your mistakes and then you move on and then you try again. I'll probably try to paint another angle of this lady, and I'll see how I can improve on her skin tone, because I really, really love her skin tone. She has a unique skin tone compared to most of the pins that I have in my Pinterest board. So yeah, as you can see here, it was such a bad idea to paint the background with a light color because she has gray hair. So duh, I should have painted it with like a darker color, right? No, I decided to paint it with like a grayish, bluish, greenish shade. And that was not the best decision I made, but it is a decision I made and I fully accept it, and I will definitely learn from it. I think this is partly why I really enjoy posting these videos. The goal is not really for the views, it's more of documentation of the process. I know for a fact that maybe a year from now when I watch these videos and then I hear my voiceovers and how my thought process is and how I learned to do this and get better, I'm really gonna appreciate it. So regardless of whether the paintings turn out well or bad, I'm still gonna post them regardless of how embarrassed I am. Alright, I just forced myself to stop because I have to stop. But it doesn't look so bad. I'm still happy with how it turned out. Hope to see you guys next time.